Citizen journalism, something that can actually be very productive on a local level or for raising concerns about things that are being ignored. It's had its successes in the past. However, it can also be used very irresponsibly. And just simply giving links to articles is not citizen journalism. It's just doing what I'm doing, chatting about an article occasionally or giving your own opinion. That's not citizen journalism. But in any case, for an example of truly irresponsible citizen journalism, we return once more to the strange and bizarre world of Paralypsis Boy here, Super Portrait, Mr. Webb. Let's start this off with his another member of a certain faith, something that you'll see in a moment he has very little proof of. We could argue that, especially with Christianity, Buddhism. No, we couldn't probably argue that. But in any case, Mr. Webb will tell us this, then tell us 2 weeks later he's jogged off down to the local mosque or a mosque to worship with people. Now, really, that's taking the absolute pee. It's basically expecting us to believe that he can insult it 1 minute, not insult it, and that the people at the local mosque or mosques in other countries will be overjoyed to see him. It's really a very dishonest practice lacking in integrity. I'm sure I can find violent Methodists and Anglicans. I can certainly find plenty of violent members of my own faith. I can certainly find plenty of violent Jewish people. It's just a fact of life that there's going to be violent people in any community. Back up there, bro. Back up because I'm gonna show you the perpetrator. That's the perpetrator, Marcus Monzo. Like Mr. Monzo is a dual national with Spanish and Brazilian heritage. Had Mr. Webb actually checked that, he would have found that out. If Mr. Monzo there didn't open his mouth on a street, we'd just take him as another white guy, unless you knew or otherwise. I suggest it's a far more likely scenario with Mr. Monzo that he had, and I'm not trying to be uncharitable, the man, but voices in his head. He'd sort of skinned a cat at his house. There was a large quantity of cannabis, and he had odd mutterings and strange stuff going on social media. I suggest that Mr. Webb is basing his claim of another fate on the fact that when police arrested Mr. Monzo and asked if he understood, he replied, Allah, Allah will unite us all, and God, God will unite us all. The fact that he keeps switching between the two suggests that he's not sure what he is or who he is or in his right mind, I would say. When police searched his home, as I noted a few moments ago, they found a cat he had killed as well as a quantity of cannabis, jurors were told. But let's finish up with Mr. Webb. And this should illustrate that, once again, Mr. Webb is more interested in addressing a certain form of bigotry and tickling the tummy of his subscribers in relation to that bigotry. Well, that's called time, Mr. Webb. I'm 53 as of a few months ago, and in my lifetime, the world has altered. It does happen, strangely enough. No criminal activity in London before that, then, was there? I wouldn't want to be looking back at the 60s and 70s in East London and try to claim there was no criminal activity. And let's leave alone the myth that they only did it to their own. That's absolute bollocks. What, like what one of the Crays did back in the 60s? Or I can find you other examples of black, white, and Asian people going crazy with swords. See, that's the problem, Mr. Webb. A responsible historian or someone personify themselves as a journalist doesn't tries not to just guess. They go and do some basic research. It's taken me 10 minutes to look up the articles I have on the top bar there. Mad foreigner. We're off in Johnny Foreigner land. I'm sure there's no, the idea that all foreigners are touched in their bonces or something. Well, I think the boy's dead. If you're speaking like that because it's still an undergoing trial, that's different. I'll understand why you're doing it. Sub judice. Oh, how dare a police officer could be called Jasmine? I would have thought, Mr. Webb, instead of taking the piss out of the police officer's name, you would have actually respected the fact that she put her life in danger. But the fact that she's called Jasmine and she might be a Muslim requires Mr. Webb to sit there with that smirk on his face and take the absolute piss out of people doing a job he could never dream of doing and would fuck up totally. What you mean? Like this bloke, like Mr. Monzo here. Or does he look African to you? I mean, or at least you know, as in some. Doesn't look like that to me. Doesn't look Japanese. Looks like a white bloke to me. He may have some other ancestry in there, but for practical purposes on the street, he's a white bloke. Yeah, skinning cats is probably quite mad. Yeah, he said that, but what he said afterwards was, Allah will unite us all, and God will reunite us all. And you left that bit off, as always, the paltering, the trademark of Webb's nonsense. I'll leave it there. Webb once it demonstrates once again that Webb does no research for these videos and is only interested in servicing the bigotry and nonsense.